Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back finally to another graphic novel collection update. It's been a good 11 or so months since I did one of these. I've not really been in a position to record because of things like college exams and then settling into a new job and various other bits and bobs I won't bore you guys with. But I just want to express my appreciation for those of you that supported me in the comments and were like, come back, do more videos, things like that. That just sort of support is really motivating, and I'm glad to be back because I have missed doing this stuff. So hopefully I can get back into the swing of things a bit more now and give you guys some new videos and hauls and things like that. So like I said, thank you guys for the support and the patience. It's really appreciated, but I'm not going to bore you guys with all of this stuff, so I'm going to jump straight in here with the first shelf, which is DC. As you can see, it's predominantly omnibuses and oversized hardcovers. The gap over there on the left is where the Flash omnibus by Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato would belong. That's currently lent out to a friend, which is why it's absent there on the shelf. Moving on, though, we do have one of my favourite series that I've read, and that is Gotham Central Omnibus by Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka. Really, really good stuff. If you're a Batman fan, I highly recommend checking that out. Next to that, we have my actual favourite series of all time, as of this recording, and that is Green Lantern by Jeff Johns. His whole run on this character is just phenomenal. These are the 3 omnibus volumes, as you can see, and this run just propelled Green Lantern from a hero that I really didn't care about to my 3rd favourite hero now of all time, so I can't praise that run enough. It's just absolutely brilliant. I love it to bits. Next, we've got an omnibus that I picked up for hella cheap, probably about £30, I believe, online, and that is the Bronze Age Omnibus for Justice League of America. That's Volume 1. These things just look awesome on the shelf, and they're nice to own. I love the Bronze Age artwork, so super psyched to just own that for such a cheap price as well. Next to that, we got Justice League The Darkseid War Saga Omnibus by Jeff Johns, and the Swamp Thing Bronze Age Omnibus. Swamp Thing's a character that I've really been getting into over the past sort of year, and wanted to go back to, no pun intended, his roots and start from the beginning. So that's Swamp Thing's first appearance up to, I believe, where Alan Moore would take over. Into oversized hardcovers from DC Rebirth, we've got Tom King's Batman. This is Volume 1 and Volume 2. Not a huge fan of Tom King's stuff. I have nothing against it. It's just not for me. I much prefer Detective Comics from Rebirth, which you'll see later on in the collection. Moving on swiftly then, we've got DC Universe Rebirth, the Deluxe Edition, and Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Metal, the Deluxe Edition. I apologise for the glare and the shaky camera, by the way. I'm doing my best, but obviously this is all handheld, so there's only so much I can do. Next we have a really solid series from Rebirth, and that is Joshua Williamson's The Flash. This has been really enjoyable so far. We've got Volume 1 to 3 here of the Rebirth stuff, so I'm eagerly awaiting Volume 4, because that stuff, like I said, has been really solid so far. Next to that, we've got another one of my favourite sort of storylines that I've read from DC in recent years, and that is Green Arrow by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, the Deluxe Edition. Really, really good stuff. Their whole New 52 run. If you're a Green Arrow fan, or you're looking to get into the character, you're intrigued by him or whatever, like I was, pick that up. It's phenomenal. I'm sure it won't disappoint you. Next, we've got the 2 Superman Deluxe Editions from DC Rebirth, 1 and 2, by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. I'm sure you guys have heard enough about how amazing this series is for Superman fans. You're not going to hear any different from me. It's really great stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out if you haven't already. Especially if you're a fan of other stuff that creative team has done, like Batman and Robin in particular from the New 52, because you've got that same father-son dynamic between John and Clark and Bruce and Damian. So really, really good stuff. And then in the corner there, we've got Scott Snyder and Jim Lee's Superman Unchained, the Deluxe Edition. Moving on to shelf number 2, we have Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing, the Deluxe Edition. I haven't read this yet. I want to read all the other Swamp Thing stuff I've got first before I get to this, so I can sort of take it all in order, watch the character evolve and things like that. So really looking forward to diving into that series. Like I said, Swamp Thing's been really interesting me lately. Next, we've got Scott Snyder's Batman. I'm not going to pull all of these out. We've got volumes 1 to 8, including Night of the Owls and Joker Death of the Family, the 2 tie-in hardcovers. I've yet to get volume 9. I'm missing volume 9, but we got volume 10 as well on the end. Absolutely fantastic. Love that series to pieces. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it before if you've seen my other collection video, but love it. I'm a big Scott Snyder fan. He's one of the writers that have really gotten me into DC from when I jumped over from Marvel, so nothing but praise for Scott Snyder. We then got Batman Earth 1, volumes 1 and 2 there by Jeff Johns. Really good stuff, and eagerly awaiting a volume 3, hopefully soon. We've then got Dark Days, The Road to Metal, and Dark Knights Rising, which are 2 tie-in hardcovers for the Metal event, as you can imagine. We've then got The Flash, volume 5 and 6 from the New 52. That's History Lessons and Out of Time. History Lessons is the next volume on from where the Omnibus that I mentioned earlier ends off. So there you go. We've then got the Green Lantern, A Celebration of 75 Years hardcover, which is a really nice hardcover. I don't have any more for any of the other characters, but I might pick one up at some point for maybe Batman or something, because they are really nice to own, so they're pretty cool. Green Lantern Earth 1 next to that. Another really enjoyable read as a Green Lantern fan, and looking forward to hopefully a volume 2. From DC Rebirth, we got Justice League vs. Suicide Squad, and then we've got Jeff Johns and Gary Frank's Shazam. If you're looking forward to the movie or want to get into the character because of it or whatever, pick this up. This is just fantastic. So enjoyable. And I'm super glad that Jeff Johns is back on Shazam currently writing his new series. We then got volume 1 to 3 of Superman Earth 1 by J. Michael Straczynski, followed by Superman American Alien by Max Landis. And then Grant Morrison's Wonder Woman Earth 1, which I'm not a huge fan of, I have to admit. Into paperbacks from the pre-52, we've got Aquaman, Sub Diego by Will Pfeiffer. Writing duties then swap over to John Arcudi for To Serve and Protect and Kingdom Lost. From the New 52, we've got the Jeff Johns run on Aquaman, starting with Volume 1, The Trench, which, fun fact, this was the first DC book I ever bought that wasn't Batman. So this was sort of the book that allowed me to head out into more DC territory that wasn't just Batman, and is a big factor as to why I'm such a big DC fan nowadays. But continuing on, we got Volume 2, The Others, Volume 3, Throne of Atlantis, and Volume 4, Death of a King, which, like I said, is Jeff Johns' run there, and then Aquaman and the Others, Volume 1, Legacy of Gold. Got that super cheap, so I wasn't going to say no. From DC Rebirth, we've got Aquaman, The Drowning, Black Manta Rising, Crown of Atlantis, Underworld, The Crown Comes Down, which is volumes 1 to 5. We've then got the Mira Queen of Atlantis miniseries, which is not that. And then, as you saw, Aquaman volume 6, Kingslayer. Then into Batman, which is the biggest chunk of my collection, and we kick it off with Batman The Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One, 2 books that everyone has sort of got in their collection, I'm sure, but hey, you got to have them in there. They are classics. We've then got the Jeff Loeb Tim Sale trilogy with Batman Haunted Night, The Long Halloween, which is probably my favourite Batman book that I've ever read, fun fact, and Batman Dark Victory. We've then got the 3 huge Batman Nightfall trades, and then into the sort of Grant Morrison era, we've got Batman and Son, Batman R.I.P., really difficult to see, but it is in there, Batman Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader, and Batman Battle for the Cowl on the end there by Tony S. Daniel. Moving on down to shelf number 3, and continuing on with the Grant Morrison stuff, we've got Batman and Robin, Batman Reborn, Batman vs. Robin, Time in the Batman, The Return of Bruce Wayne, Batman and Robin Must Die, Batman Incorporated, and Batman the Black Mirror. This is all the sort of Grant Morrison era. Black Mirror is fantastic. It's not written by Grant Morrison, it's written by Scott Snyder, and doesn't really tie into Grant's story at all. It's just because it's Dick Grayson as Batman in that book, it sort of fits into this Grant Morrison sort of line. From the New 52, we've got, as I mentioned earlier, Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. That's volumes 1 to 7, which is all fantastic stuff. If you haven't read that and you're a Batman fan, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's just phenomenal. Next, we've got volumes 1 to 8 of DC Rebirth's Batman Detective Comics, which, like I said earlier, is my preference over the Batman books in DC Rebirth, and one of my favourite series that I've read in Rebirth. Really, really enjoying that. I've read up to volume 6 at the minute, and I still need to read volumes 7 and 8. Then we've got Gail Simone's 5-volume run on Batgirl from the New 52 there. The Darkest Reflection up to Deadline. And then Batgirl of Burnside, which is the follow-on series by Cameron Stewart and I forget her name, Brendan Fletcher. We've then got Batwoman Volume 1 and 2 from the New 52. Dark Knight's Metal, The Resistance, Forever Evil Arkham War, and then Nightwing Bloodhaven. This is Nightwing's first solo series from the sort of late 90s, early 2000s. We've then got Nightwing Volumes 1 to 5 of the New 52, which then transitions into Grayson for those 5 volumes there. And then we've got volumes 1 to 7 of the DC Rebirth Nightwing series there by Tim Seeley, Sam Humphries, and Benjamin Percy, who does volume 7 there, which is the most recent one, The Bleeding Edge. And then concluding Nightwing, we've got Nightwing The New Order, which I've not yet read, but I'm really stoked to. I've heard really good things about that. Next, we got a character that I'm actually really fond of and I wish got a lot more love in DC, and that is Captain Atom. And the book I'm talking about is The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom, as you can see. Really interesting read, beautiful artwork. Really hope we get some more Captain Atom stuff. I'm actually holding out my hopes that Scott Snyder brings him in for Justice League related stuff in his current series, but hey ho, we'll have to see. But like I said, really enjoyed this book, really enjoy Captain Atom. Next we got one of my favourite villains in comics, and that is Deathstroke. This is volume 1 of Deathstroke Assassins. That's the old Deathstroke the Terminator stuff. And we then got volume 1 of Deathstroke by Tony S. Daniel, which I may pick up the Omnibus for. I'm not entirely sure yet. And then we've got volumes 1 to 5 of DC Rebirth's Deathstroke there by Christopher Priest. Next, we've got another mini-series that I was really excited to read, and that is The Demon Hell is Earth, an Etrigan mini-series. Another character that I'm really fond of. It doesn't get too much exposure, but again, hoping to get more Etrigan stuff down the line, hopefully in Justice League Dark, the current series going on. Next, we got Earth 2, volumes 1 to 6 from the New 52. That's another series I really enjoyed. And then we've got The Flash by Grant Morrison and Mark Millar. And the 3 volumes of The Flash by Jeff Johns. There, this is all Wally West Flash stuff. And then switching over to Barry Allen, we've got The Flash Rebirth and Flashpoint. I do not have the 2 trades that fit in between those two, but I'll probably get round to them at some point. Next, we got volumes 1 to 6 of DC Rebirth's Green Arrow by Benjamin Percy. Another one of my favourites from DC Rebirth. Really good stuff there. If you're a Green Arrow fan, definitely give this stuff a go if you haven't. Next, this continues on directly from where Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run ends off in the 3rd Omnibus, and this is then volume 4 of Green Lantern from the New 52, when Robert Venditti takes over. So that kicks off there with Dark Days. Then you've got Lights Out, which is the first crossover. Then you've got Test of Wills, The Life Equation, Green Lantern New Gods Godhead, which I actually really enjoyed, and then Renegade and Reflections, which concludes the New 52 Green Lantern stuff. Then you go into Rebirth with volume 1 and 2 of Green Lanterns by Sam Humphries. I'm not hugely into Green Lanterns, but I am hugely into Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps by Robert Venditti. This is volumes 1 to 7. That's the complete series from Sinestro's Law up to Dark Stars Rising, which I'm actually going to start reading tonight. And then in the corner here we got Sinestro Volume 1, The Demon Within, and the first 2 volumes of Jeff Johns' New 52 Justice League run. Moving over to shelf number 4, continuing on the Jeff Johns Justice League, we've got Volume 3, Throne of Atlantis, Volume 4, The Grid, and the Justice League Trinity War crossover event. And then from Scott Snyder, we've got Justice League No Justice, which picks up just after Metal, and then Volume 1 of his Justice League run, The Totality. Hopefully you can see that there. Then we got Justice League Dark Volume 1 in the dark. Picked this up super cheap, so I wasn't going to say no. Really love the artist, so that was a must. Then we've got a book that I've been waiting to come out for a long ass time. It's finally out, and I cannot wait to read it, and that is Tom King's Mr. Miracle run. His 12-issue maxi series. Had nothing but great things about. It obviously won the Eisner Award for Best Writer and Best Artist of last year, so I cannot wait to dive into that. That's going to be good. We've then got Volume 1 to 5 of Suicide Squad from the New 52, and then New Suicide Squad Volume 1, Pure Insanity. Next, I picked this up for £10, and considering the size of it, it was a pretty damn good deal. That's The Return of Superman. And we've then got Grant Morrison's masterful All-Star Superman, which, yes, did make me cry. Shut up. We then got volumes 1 to 4 of Superman Action Comics from DC Rebirth. Really been enjoying this. I might swap these over and get the deluxe hardcovers, but I'm not sure yet. Next, we've got the pleasant surprise New Superman, Volume 1, made in China. Really enjoyable, the Superman of China. Really worth checking out. Like, that was just such a nice surprise. I do need to get more of that, because I did really enjoy it. Supergirl Volume 1, Reign of the Cyborg Supermen. Super Sons Volume 1, When I Grow Up. I'll probably swap this over for the Omnibus. And then another series that pleasantly surprised me, Superwoman Volume 1, Who Killed Superwoman? I think there's at least 2 more volumes of that, and then that got cancelled, so I've got to pick that up at some point. We got books 1, 2, and 3 of Alan Moore's Saga of the Swamp Thing. I'm sure you guys have heard about how fantastic this is plenty of times, so I'm not going to bore you and repeat the same stuff. We then got Titans Hunt, and from DC Rebirth, Teen Titans Volume 1, Titans Volumes 1 and 2, and the Lazarus Contract crossover there with a Speed Force powered Deathstroke, which is just awesome. And then in the corner there we got Wonder Woman Volume 1 and 2 from DC Rebirth. Volume 2, by the way, of Wonder Woman from DC Rebirth is freaking amazing. I've really enjoyed it. I'm just not a big fan of the main Wonder Woman stuff, like Volume 1, which is a shame. Moving on to Marvel, we've got the Punisher Max by Jason Aaron and Steve Dillon Omnibus. Absolutely fantastic series. Love it to pieces. I'm now not going to be able to get this book back in. There we go. Absolutely fantastic. Underrated run from what I can tell. Like, a lot of people don't seem to talk about this one. It's obviously all the Garth Ennis Punisher stuff, but really worth a read. Next we got another series I absolutely adore because it is hilarious. That is Nick Spencer's The Superior Foes of Spider-Man Omnibus. Pretty thin. It's only like a 14-issue series, but it is just enjoyable all the way through. Next, we've got the legendary Chris Claremont Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 1. Really want to get volumes 2 and 3, sorry. I hope they're not out of print because they're just out of stock on the site that I use, so hopefully they'll come back in because it's just so fantastic. I love the X-Men just so much more than I ever did, and I already loved them thanks to this. It's just absolutely legendary, just definitive X-Men stuff. Next we've got what I thought was, sorry to say, quite overrated book, and that is Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Panther Volume 1, A Nation Under Our Feet. Enjoyable would be the wrong word. It's very political, not in a bad way as such. It's just a little overrated from the praise I've been hearing it get, which is a shame. Next, another one of my favourite characters. We've got Daredevil by Mark Waid, volumes 1 to 5 in oversized hardcover. I won't pull those out because it's just going to needlessly extend the video, but fantastic stuff all around. Next, we got Spider-Verse and the Amazing Spider-Man Clone Conspiracy crossover events in oversized hardcover. And then we've got the 3 original graphic novels from Marvel for Thanos, and that is the Infinity Revelation, the Infinity Relativity, and the Infinity Finale. I think there's like 1 or 2 more at the minute that's come out to do with this series, but I've yet to pick them up. And then we got Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, The Death of Spider-Man there in hardcover, and Nick Spencer's Ant-Man series there, with Ant-Man Second Chance Man there, which is a beautiful cover, and then that transitions immediately into these 3 volumes of The Astonishing Ant-Man by Nick Spencer, which is just fantastic all the way through. Next we got another series by Nick Spencer that I'm sure you've all heard of, and it's a series that I'm actually quite fond of. Sue me, but I really enjoyed it, and that is Nick Spencer's Captain America Steve Rogers, volumes 1, 2, and 3. I've just noticed that, unless I'm going crazy, volume 3 is not there, which is interesting because I don't know where it is, but I do have the 3 volumes of that, and really enjoyed it, so sue me. We've then got Captain America, Home of the Brave by Mark Waid. and The Defenders by Brian Michael Bendis. That's Volume 1, Diamonds Are Forever. We then got a really enjoyable event that wasn't really spoken about in Marvel, and that was Doctor Strange Damnation, the complete collection. A really interesting sort of magical event there involving Doctor Strange and Mephisto and Scarlet Spider, Iron Fist, Moon Knight, Blade, Ghost Rider, those sorts of characters. Speaking of some of those characters, like Moon Knight and Ghost Rider and Iron Fist, we have Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning's Heroes for Hire, a series that I read just as I was getting into comics in single issues. Couldn't find it printed anywhere, and then luckily this complete collection came out, so it was really awesome to be able to revisit that. In an exact same situation as Heroes for Hire, we've got Hulk by Jeff Loeb, complete collection 1 and 2. There. The Immortal Iron Fist volumes 1 and 2, complete collection. Iron Fist the Living Weapon, the complete collection. And Iron Fist volume 1. And then kicking off that shelf, ending that shelf is 1 to 3 of the Marvel Now Moon Knight. Moving on down, we have got Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight, those 3 volumes there, which is just phenomenal. Absolutely awesome stuff. If you haven't read that, definitely give that a shot if you're interested in the character. And then we've got Moon Knight Volume 1 by Max Bemis, which I've yet to read. Next we got the Punisher Max Complete Collection by Garth Ennis and Punisher Welcome Back Frank. Amazing Spider-Man Great Power Epic Collection, of course by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, and the Complete Clone Saga Epic Book 1 of like 5, which I do not own the other 4 as of yet, as you can see. We got Spider-Man Big Time Complete Collection 1 to 4, and Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 by Nick Spencer. Spider-Man 2099 Volume 3 by Peter David. I'd read the first 2 in singles, so jumped straight to 3 there for that. And then Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider 1 and 2. We've then got Carnage Classic, which is awesome. Carnage's first appearance and other notable issues. Axis, Carnage and Hobgoblin, and Carnage 1 to 3. We've then got Ultimate Spider-Man by Brian Michael Bendis, Volume 1 to 21. Obviously huge stuff. I got all of this, all 21 of these volumes in one fell swoop for about £50, which in my opinion is just one hell of a deal. Absolutely phenomenal. Probably my second favourite series after Green Lantern as of right now. We then got the first Ultimate Collection for said Ultimate Spider-Man, and then the first Ultimate Collection for Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man. We then got Edge of Venomverse and Venomverse, that event there. And then Jason Aaron's Thor 1 and 2, Mighty Thor 1 and 2, and the Unworthy Thor. That's the Lady Thor there, Jane Foster. We then got a book that I picked up for about £1, so I wasn't going to say no. That's The Torch by Alex Ross. And then The Astonishing X-Men by Charles Soule, Volume 1. Into Star Wars stuff real quick. We've got the first oversized hardcover for Star Wars by Jason Aaron. And then the first oversized hardcover for Dr. Aphra. If I can get that out to show you guys. There we go. And then we've got Star Wars Shattered Empire, And then in here you've got Star Wars Volume 1 to 9, Star Wars Darth Vader 1 and 2, Vader Down, Darth Vader 3 and 4, Darth Vader Dark Lord of the Sith 1 to 3, Star Wars Captain Phasma, Star Wars Chewbacca, Star Wars Darth Maul and Son of Dathomir, Han Solo, Kanan 1 and 2, Lando Double or Nothing, Obi-Wan and Anakin, Princess Leia, and Star Wars Thrawn. We've then got the beautiful quality IDW collections for Transformers. This is book 1. Really want to get more of this stuff. And then Spawn, book 1. Sorry about that cut there, guys. Moving on to the final shelf real quick. We got Spawn by Todd McFarlane, book 2. And like I said, these books are just such nice quality, and I really want to get more of those down the line, so I should really do that soon. We got The Walking Dead, Here's Negan, Fight Club 2. Fight Club is one of my favourite films, so of course I had to get that. I'm super stoked for Fight Club 3, which I know has just started. Overwatch Anthology Volume 1, WWE Volume 1, Aliens, The Essential Comics Volume 1 by Dark Horse. Had to grab that when I saw it. I love the Alien franchise as well. Umbrella Academy Volume 1, Kill or Be Killed Volume 1, which is fantastic. Outcast 1 and 2, Saga Book 1 and 2, The Walking Dead Compendium Book 1. I'd read up to, I think, the end of book or Compendium Volume 3 in sort of standard trades, and then I switched over to these, so I still need to get 1, 2 and 3. Then we've got Adventure Time Volume 1, Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, Why the Last Man Book 1, and finally over here in the corner we got Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind by Hayao Miyazaki, which are really nice manga volumes. Really want to get more of these if they've got any more for any of his other films. Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, whatever. Really do want to get more of those. They're really nice quality volumes. Really want to get more manga in general, but there we go. But yeah, guys, that basically sums up my updated graphic novel collection. So I'm not going to bore you guys with a massive long outro. I just want to once again voice my appreciation for the support that you guys threw my way while I've been gone. It really does mean a lot, and it really does motivate me to want to do more stuff. So, like I said at the beginning, I'm looking forward to hopefully bringing you guys some more stuff in the future. Hauls, collection updates, whatever it may be. Because I do enjoy making them, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I thank you guys one last time for the support and for watching this video, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks so much, guys. Peace out. Bye.